Hello and welcome to Business Daily, reaching you from Trust Elevation in Abuja, Nigeria's capital. Let's take a look at some of our top stories in the business world. Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. I am Chiamaka Nwafo. Now let's take a look at trading on the stock exchange floor yesterday. Now, yesterday our SAI, as close of business on the 21st of September 2023, our all-share index went down to 68,271. by minus 0.09%. Now, the market cap equally saw a decline to 37,363.77 billion naira from 37.4 trillion naira it had the previous day. It's been a decline of some sort in the last 2 days. What's happening, we're not sure about that, but the volume of trade was 1.123 billion shares, valued at 5.815 billion naira in deals of 7,949 deals. Now, this whole market theme shows, improvement of 98% improvement in the volume, an 8% improvement in turnover, but a 3% decline in deals, with the current market capitalization stock ending at 37.4 trillion naira. Now, on our gainers table, although we had about 119 NGX listed shares being traded yesterday, but of course we just have three top traders gainers we're going to take today. And John Holt closed at 1 naira 72 kobo, at 9.55%. That was the increment it had. Omatech Limited at 0 naira 46 kobo, having an upward trend of 9.52%. And we have Dar Communications in the third at 0 naira 23 kobo at a 9.52%. Of course, there are going to be losers. And on our losers table, Oando is topping that table. It closed at 13 naira 15 kobo, losing at 9.93%. And Lasarco Limited at 1.86 naira, losing at minus 9.71%. Now, Charms Limited too went down. Although in the last few days, if you've been with us, you could see that it had been on the top gainers table for a while, but apparently it didn't do so well yesterday, and it was among the losers at 1 naira 32 kobo, closing at 9.59%. Now we're going to move into the top trades and the market movers. Now, Universal Insurance had most of the trades happening at 669 million shares of trades. taking place on the floor of the exchange. Surprisingly, Owando too had a lot of trades happening, but then it was on our losers table, but closing at 101 million shares, and Japan Golden Ventures Limited came in third at 43.7 million shares. Let's go to our sectors and see if this had anything affect NGX banking. Well, close declined. That's 0.46%. NGX Industrial, however, went up by 0.01%. This is like an upward trend in the last few days. NGX Consumer Goods, 0.05% went up. NGX Oil and Gas equally saw 0.19%. Apparently, the losing of Owando didn't affect it in any way. And NGX Insurance went up at 0.26%. On the African continent, what's happening? Johannesburg Stock Exchange. This is the first time in about 3 to 4 days that is showing red, closing at 73,238.13. That's about 3,000 and something points, closing at minus 2.12%. Now, the Ghana Stock Exchange still maintained its upward trend, still going now at 3,168.35 points. That's adding a 0.11%. Now, the Nairobi Stock Exchange still seems to be on the decline. It just keeps going down at 96.93 basis points, losing minus 0.25%. Hopefully something will be done to help the stock exchange of Nairobi, get back on track. But that's the much we have for you on stock reports. When we come back after the break, we're going to be looking at inflation and its impact on Nigerian businesses. Do stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us here on Business Daily on Trust Television, reaching you from Abuja, Nigeria's capital. Like I earlier said, we want to be looking at inflation and its impact on Nigerian businesses. But before we go into that, let's take a look at this report.
Prices of common commodities like confectionaries, including biscuits and juice, have multiplied. That's according to the residents. The need for these items has raised confusion and lamentations for parents and guardians, with some of them saying this was not the situation in their last encounter with the traders.
The situation is pathetic because you see a budget that has been planned at home. What we are seeing in the market is far from what we have budgeted at home. So the situation is really pathetic.
Because a lot of things, in fact, the price is too high. Because as our children are resuming back to school, I went to the market today, I discovered that everything increased. Even books, but everything increased. So, and this is another challenge that many parents they are facing, because some of them they do not even prepare on time.
With these realities, some have adjusted their budgets in order to enable them get what they can.
I plan to buy biscuits, which I usually buy for 2,500, and it's about 3,100 thereabouts. So the increase is high. I usually plan to buy like 3 cartons, but I ended up buying just 2 with a squeezed plan.
Subsidy where they remove, where they no plan them. As they remove them, it affect everything for market. Transportation, before I dey go modern market, from here to modern market, 300 naira. But now they go there 500. So if I come back, I calculate my expenses, things will go up small. I think because I'm done.
Hike in fuel price is affecting everybody. But speaking for myself, I am into buying and selling, so it is affecting the cost of goods in terms of way bill and transportation. So there is hike in fuel price, which is affecting the cost of bringing down these goods from where we buy them down to this region.
The palliative pronounced by the government may not be enough if prices of goods and services are not controlled. In any case, the parents will have to adjust to the current situation and wait until such a time when things get better.
We'll be going on a short break, and when we return, we'll delve into the discuss. Do stay with us. Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. Now, as earlier said, inflation and its impact on small businesses. Now, before we go into what it is, what is actually inflation? It can be said to be an economic concept that refers to the rate at which the general level of prices for goods and services is rising and subsequently purchasing power is falling. Now, just last week here, the NBS released a report saying that our annual inflation rate climbed to 25.8% in August from 24.08% in July, and that is the highest rate since September of 2005. This is, of course, reflecting the impact of the fuel subsidy removal, the devaluation of the official exchange rate, and security issues in food-producing regions. Like that package or report we just saw earlier telling us about the effects these things are having on their businesses. Now, I'm not here to give you a class or a lecture. To discuss this with me further is a business consultant joining us virtually, Moses Egberimo. Good morning. Good morning, Moses.
Hey, good morning. Hi,
Good morning.
happy to be with you.
Thank you so much for joining us. Now, as a business consultant, can you help us understand really the impact of inflation? Now, I know that there are different types of businesses. There's the micro, small, and medium enterprises, and of course, there are the large enterprises. Is the impact the same on those businesses, on both levels of or scales of businesses?
Yes. Okay. First of all, I want to say this: inflation is inflation everywhere, so it has to do with the impact is on everyone because that will reduce consumers' power. Buying power will be low, so definitely every businesses want to bring their product to the end users, and the end users decide the market. And when there's inflation, definitely it will affect all businesses, both big and small. So it's not, I don't think that's selective because at the end of the day, no matter the business, it has to be driven to the end users. And when it comes to inflation, when things are on the high rise and all of that, it will affect buying powers and that affect business generally.
All right. Now, how what strategies can businesses employ to mitigate the negative effects of rising production costs due to inflation generally? Reading up, I see that there's a positive side to inflation and there's a negative side to inflation. Now, before you answer my earlier question, can you help differentiate the positives and the negatives? Because it's like all we see are the negatives. So what is exactly is the positive side to inflation, especially on businesses?
Generally, if certain businesses get to benefit from inflation, generally businesses like real estate businesses benefit big time from inflation because property appreciates with the new high rise and they get to benefit. So as much as we can look into the benefit of certain businesses, to some businesses is not so much of benefit to them, but certain businesses is so much of benefit to them. And then at the end of the day, it's more or less like a lot of businesses get to move into the new updates, leverage on the new results. So if I want to look at the positive side of it could just be relational. It has to be relative. I can't identify that on every business, how inflation can be of benefit to every businesses in particular. But then in certain businesses, it has a whole lot to benefit them. It has a whole lot based on formal stock and all of that. Then for the negative side, it's just the buying power of the end users. That's all. But then if a businessman is in the business, no businessman will lose even in inflation one way or the other. They move into the new prices, they move into the new expectation, and that's what businesses is generally. So I can actually put it in that way. On positive side, it's relative. On negative side, it's on everyone. That's what I can say about when it comes to both the positive and the negative side of the businesses.
Okay, so Mr. Moses, you were saying that every businessman would benefit from inflation. But it's possible that might not be the case, seeing as if you increase the cost of your goods and few people can afford it at the moment, I don't see the benefit in that.
Actually, that's the negative side we're talking about. When we talk about, I don't consider that as benefit. Like I said, when it comes to the positive side, it's relative. It's not generic on every business. But when it comes to the negative side, it's general because it will reduce buying power. And but then every businessman, we still want to be on profit. So, but that won't be a positive side to a businessman. So that's what I see it as. But then the buying power will be low. That is where the negative side of it is.
Now, what strategies can business employ to now navigate this negative impact that inflation is having on their business, on their enterprise?
it comes to
Mr. Moses? Mr. Moses? Yes, I can hear you. If you can hear me, could you continue? All right, so I think we're having a... Okay, so Mr. Moses, what strategies, as I said earlier, before the network had that issue, can business employ to mitigate the negative effects of rising production costs due to inflation?
in business generally, this is one of the best time to also look into more new strategies. One of the strategies is going hard on sales anyway, because it has to be creating more. Businesses need to look at creating more incentives, so customers will not look at the cost only, but also look at the offers that are coming with it. Every businessman can create more offers to their business. Now, in times like these, people don't always have a problem with just buying. They just want to buy. They want to account for whatever they are paying for. So they want to get value for their money. So what we should be looking at for now in times like this is not just talking about inflation, but to create more value for people, to ensure that there are more offers, more incentives. If you were buying these at this rate before, you want to keep your customers. Yes, the prices can, the business owner shouldn't go into loss because they want to keep a customer, but they should look at creating more offers, more excitement, more marketing strategies in order to keep customers. And that has to be with that's an initiative. That's a lot of people are doing that already. A lot of people are implementing these already when it comes to this times like this, reaching out to their customers, making things more convenient for their customers to do business with them, not looking at the prices. Because if you want to go by the prices and you want to look at it very well, then a lot of people won't be in business.
Okay, so now,
so that's my suggestion.
Businesses in Nigeria, but there are people that their business is mostly importation. They bring in things in. How can they work towards that? How the inflation affects their business? How does that affect them? Maybe with the currency exchange rate fluctuating and all that. What can you tell them? What's the strategy they can employ to use for their businesses to get better and deal with the inflation situation right now?
At the moment, when it comes to importation businesses, it's almost like
all right, so
when it comes to inflation.
Okay.
A lot of business are suffering from that right now. I have a business going on, and we were importing these products, and we get this product at when dollar was at 640 or so, and about 7. And now with the increase, then we don't have an option. The prices has to maintain the current prices. Are we losing customers? Yes. Are we having people disappointed? Yes. But there are really no other ways to go around it other than the business owner considering his business first, and then reaching out to his customers to figure out other ways to create additional incentives if that is possible. But then this is not a situation where you can avoid it from the increase, but the business owner has to look down to his business and figure out ways the business can still thrive and people should still pay at the current rates without holding back. So that's my suggestion.
Okay, so now there are companies, as someone who works and earns as an employee of an organization, what are the implications of inflation on employee compensation and retention for businesses? We're seeing people having to either, there's so much now, people don't know what to do, either they're letting go, what can be done? All right, it seems that we keep having a network challenge, and we have lost Mr. Moses Omoriwe, our guest business analyst, speaking to us on inflation and its impact on Nigerian businesses. Well, that's the much we have for you today, but you can catch us here tomorrow, same time, same place, on Trust Television here in Abuja, Nigeria's capital. But before we go, do not forget to follow us on our social media platforms and catch us on our YouTube and our website on trusttv.com. I am Chiamaka Mwafo. Stay safe, spend wisely.